Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream Park on this beautiful day for racing. It's Saturday, it is sunny, it is nice weather, and I am joined with a very special guest, Mike Welsh. You may have read him many times in the daily racing form. He's a writer, an analyst, and a clocker, and happy to have you here, Mike.
Great to be here. First time for this meet, but hopefully not the last.
Of course not. No, only if you give us winners, though.
Do my best.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. We'll chat at the end of the day. Okay, so Rainbow Six today here. It is 50,000 gross jackpot guaranteed, so make sure to get involved in that. That starts in race number 6, but in race number 1, we are on our firm turf course here today. That kicks off the early pick 5, and Brian has got a ticket really quick that we're going to show before we jump into race number 1. He's spreading in race 1. Mike and I will get to that in just a moment. Race 2, he's going to take 3 horses. Race 3, the 4 and the 6 here, free shipping 0 for 23, kind of a professional maiden there in that race. In race number 4, it is another maiden special weight race, 7.5 furlongs, very tough one at that. He's singling with the 3 Coast Along, the Shug McGahee horse. And in race 5, he's going to end it with the 3 and the 8, $30 today, and huge pulls in those early pick 5s. And let's go ahead and jump into race number 1 here, Mike. 7.5 furlongs, maiden $20,000, and the number 2, Zen, coming second off a layoff for the Mark Cassie barn.
Yeah, these kind of races, always these opening races, turf or Tapeta with the big fields, they're always kind of inscrutable. A lot of horses that you can look at, a lot of contenders, a lot of horses dropping down, horses trying to turf for the first time, horses trying 2 turns for the first time. I went with Zen. This horse has some good races on the turf going long. Looked like he was a little bit of a hanging sort back earlier this year. They gave him some time off. He came back in a sprint where it really not his thing. I loved his work on the Tapeta coming out of that race. He worked with his stablemate in here, Kit Can Run, and was really much the best of that team. So off of the good work, off of the sprint, second off the layoff, I'm taking Zen as my first pick. My second choice was going to be the 12 horse off of some big works, too. Kind of glad a little bit that he's out because post 12 is a little tough to come from. And I threw, public service kind of logical off his form.
Yeah, and I just don't think she took it all to that Meadowland soft ground and that last out to that turf course there. This meet was, or last meet I should say, was a bit iffy there to kick off things in the early pick 5, 2 and 10 for Mike Welsh. We're seeing it the same way, just flipped around a little bit. Race number 2, this is the start of the early pick 4. I put a ticket together here, and I'm going to go 2 horses in this first race here. Floki's Flight will probably be quite honestly an odds-on favorite in a very speedy race. Race number 3, my top pick is the number 6, free shipping. I hate to pick a horse that's 0 for 23, but just seems like the logical one here. In race number 4, maiden special weight, 3, 4, and 5. The 5, Dither, is my top pick from the Christophe Clement barn, and ending it with the single of the number 8, Glorious Tribute, horse making his first start here at Gulfstream Park. Now, race number 2 here, Mike, 6 furlongs on the dirt, and we've got the pretty impressive, coming off of 2 wins here, Floki's Flight. Kind of what were your thoughts with him?
Well, I mean, on paper, Floki's Flight's definitely the horse to beat. A great claim by Dale Romans. He took him for 50, brings him back 6 weeks later, wins a maiden special open by 14 lengths at Churchill Downs, and then comes back and wins a 50 starter open company in a game effort with a huge buyer number. So coming in here against state breds, I know Dale's kind of been licking his chops to get him in with Florida breds. It's really a big drop in class theoretically. The one thing that concerns me with him besides the short price is the pace scenario in here. You see he wanted to be on a lead. He was on the lead and winning his last 2. Don't see him on the lead, or if he is, he's going to be battling for it with all that speed. But turning back to 3/4 for the first time in his career, I'm guessing he's not going to make the lead, and he's going to have to prove that he can come from off the pace of the short price. So with that in mind, I tried to beat him. If he wins at 4 to 5, so be it. I tried to beat him with Starship Renegade. This is a lightly raced, improving horse who likes to come from behind. His last race was by far his best yet. If he can get that hot pace up front, I think maybe he can run him down at 4 or 5 to 1, something like that, because I'm expecting Floki's flight to take all the money.
How have you been liking the inside pass on the dirt sprints?
You know, some days it just seems to, you got to watch it every day. It seems to vary. You know, I prefer horses here at Gulfstream, as always, to be close up. I kind of like stalking trips myself, unless you can get something just easy loose in the lead. That works everywhere usually. So it's early in the meet, so it's hard to say how the track's going to play on a daily basis. I always tell people just watch those first couple of races.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of dirt races here, so and today is no different. So it's tough to really assess how the dirt course is going to play. I think there's only 2 main track races today. But on days where there are a lot of them, which tomorrow is a case in point, you know, you have to watch that. But in the mornings when I clock horses, some mornings it's just dead and deep, and other mornings this week it's been fast. So it seems to change from day to day.
And it's good. You've got that kind of an extra edge with watching the works, and you can tell a lot about a horse in the mornings than what you're going to see in the afternoon.
Nothing better. No bigger edge in racing than watching workouts in the morning.
Race number 3, a maiden $12,500 race, a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta track here. And the number 7, King D, coming off, give or take, a little over 2 months of a layoff here. And we've actually got a race replay, and I'll let you take it away here with what interests you in King D.
Yeah, he just really didn't have a good trip here. He's number 11 in the blue. You see him way outside. It's pretty tough to win a race with that kind of a trip, wide all the way around, 4 or 5 wide from, you know, mid-pack or behind in these kind of races. What I like about him is, you see he hasn't changed his leads yet. He's still on his lefty. Now he changes, and you're going to see him come running late after he changed those leads, and he's also going to gallop out real strong. He's come back off of that. He got a little layoff. He's come back off. See, he's coming into the picture now. He's going to be a belated 4th or 5th, but if I don't know if they didn't show the gallop out. Believe me, he galloped out by the field into the turn. He's been freshened. He's working well. He's had some tough trips. He's got a race 2 back that would beat these if he can repeat that race. You noticed that day he was close up. I expect Jaramillo, if he breaks it all, to have this horse right up in the race early. I don't want to see him back mid-pack like that again, but I think if he can get that kind of trip, I think he can upset this race.
The number 6 here, 0 for 23. I hate to put a horse like this on top here, Mike, but I almost think that he needed a race from Woodbine here to Gulfstream Park. It's a little bit of a different playing field, although he has ran on this Tapeta course before, but we've actually got a stat here on Bill Therinos. Let's see what it is. 6 for 42 routing on Tapeta at Gulfstream, 14%. Not a big sample size, but not a really high percentage either, Mike.
Yeah, it's just tough for me to pick a horse like this on top. I know he's got the best numbers. He's been close or on the fringes with this kind a lot of times. And one of these days he's going to break through and win at a short price somewhere, whether it's here or Tampa or back at Woodbine, maybe in May or something. But, you know, you got to use him on the ticket. I just, in good conscience, couldn't put him on top with that 0 for 23 record.
Race number 4, a very nice maiden special weight race, 7.5 furlongs for 3-year-olds. Now, you are going with a first-time starter here, and you have watched, I'm assuming, the local work here. What kind of did you see with him in that work? Yeah,
I thought it was a super work. I've only seen one work, and it was on the dirt, which might even be more impressive since this horse is bred for the grass and has had some Tapeta training, too, at Fair Hill. But I love the work. He worked in company with an older horse, Montauk Point. They went very fast over a track that was very slow that morning, and they also had to come around another team of workers that they were running down in the stretch. So all in all, it was a very impressive work. You know, again, only seeing one work, it's hard to say, but he's bred for the grass. They paid good money for him. He seems well prepared by Shug. Shug gets the reputation that he can't win first time out. Just not true. I mean, Shug can win and have him ready first time. So I'm just taking that shot in here. Look, there are some unknowns in here. Horses I haven't seen. A horse like Dither with decent breeding, half to 3 turf winners. Christophe Clement training, Joel seeing fit to take the ride. So you got to worry about him. And American Raider is logical, although he's had a couple of chances already and kind of hasn't produced. But, you know, third off the layup, Irad seeing fit to take the call again, you have to respect them.
You do, and those were two terrible post positions. American Raider got his first two outs, the 1 out of 10 in the most recent out, and 10 out of 10 in its first start. Just two places you don't want to be for a young horse, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, the inside or the outside in those kind of cases, especially with young horses.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe almost the outside.
Yeah, I mean, if you're parked wide, first turn, going 2 turns, your race is almost over.
Exactly.
If you break inside and don't break real well, and you get shuffled back to 8th or 9th, your race is almost over. So it could work both ways. By and large, the best advice I can give is break and get them out there. So,
yeah,
but it doesn't always happen that way.
No, unfortunately not. Sometimes it takes a start or two under their belt to get going. Race number 5 here. This is a claiming $8,000 race, non-winners of 2 lifetime, a mile and a 16th on our Tapeta track. And this is a race for me, Mike, that would be a wheel race.
Yeah, these kind of races usually are. And it's the same situation here with me, picking the favorite, just not my thing. Glorious Tribute. I know on figures he lays over the field, but he's 22 starts, 1 win. He's got 2 seconds, 6 thirds. You see his last 3 races. He led, he blew leads in those races. He's getting IRAD, which is good and bad because you're going to get overbet as always when IRAD's aboard. So I'm taking a shot with Nature Boy, dropping in for 8 for the first time. Has a race over the track. I know he made an easy lead and got tired, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's come back, and according to Mike Clocker at Palm Meadows, this horse came back and worked extremely well. So I'm going to give him a little mulligan for the last one. He goes from a 7-pound bug to a rider who's been red hot here. So a lot to like about Nature Boy, including the price. He's going to be some value with that 1 for 22 favorite in here.
And more than I can handle, this is a colt I actually saw win at Monmouth over the summer. And his rider was an Italian kid that came over to ride at Monmouth for the summer. And it was his last day of riding, and he won his first race at Monmouth. He just flew on the front end and never turned back here. How are you liking these horses kind of switching from the turf to the Tapeta? Because I don't really believe in the saying that's, oh, if they like the turf, they'll like the Tapeta.
It's an individual case. I mean, you could make a case for maybe more do than don't, but you just really never know. This horse has some class behind him, though, and he's got some races that are good enough, certainly, to win for $8,000. So I'm going to guess he maybe will sit off the pace. Nature Boy probably going to go to the lead. I hope he does, because I like Nature Boy. I don't want him not on the lead in here again today, but I think he's too fast for the others. So, but More Than a Candle was my second pick. I couldn't pick the favorite better than third, just because of his record. He's proven that he'd rather be third than first.
Yep, that's true. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment to start our Rainbow Pick 6 sequence.
This is a championship meet. All the best jockeys in the world are here, and I'm excited to ride against them.
We back.
And you get to watch some really incredible, talented athletes out there.
To us, it's a place to be in the winter.
I love Gulfstream Park because of the racing.
The palm trees, the beaches right here. The horse racing is some of the best in the country.
A lot of good horses come out of here. And if you want to go to the next level, Gulfstream Park was the place to come.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place. All the history. And all these great horses, trainers, jockeys. It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Today. I'm Samantha Perry, joined with special guest today, Mike Welsh. Mike, just so happy to have you on the desk next to me here. It's always nice to get a second pair of eyes watching these works. I've got a work that we're going to show a little bit later, and I'm excited to kind of hear your feedback on it. But race number 6 begins the Pick 6, the Rainbow Pick 6, $50,000 guaranteed in the gross jackpot pool. We will have a ticket for Ron a little bit later. Somebody was staying up a little too late last night and didn't get a ticket for us here for this, but Ron will be back a little bit later to have that for us. Race number 6 here, Mike. This is claiming $35,000 maiden race, 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Jose D'Angelo has 2 horses, and Antonio Sano has 2 horses in this race, and these are connections, or now Antonio Sano has 1, pardon me, with the scratch of the 5 in this race. But these are the types of trainers that have been winning these races.
Yeah, I mean, Jose D'Angelo has obviously had a pretty good percentage. He's maybe not so much yet this meet, but you can count on that by the end of the meet he will. And he does a good job placing his first-time starters. You know, you look over the field, the horses that have run in here, really there isn't much. I mean, you got to run a 40 or 43 buyer. Jose D'Angelo's other horse that's run, Wolf Ray, has the highest buyer, 43. But I like his first-time starter, kind of by default. I haven't seen his works, but my workout report, the December 16th gate work, seems like he showed a lot of speed in that work that day. I'm a little concerned that he hasn't had a work since. That does bother me a little bit. But I think this horse is fast. I think he's probably well placed. So I had to pick him on top in here. My second choice was going to be Get Stormin' with the blinkers on, but he's been scratched. Lighten Path, obvious, coming off those 2 seconds, but another one of those kind of horses now that sort of looks like it could be a hanging sort at short price. So I'm going to throw him in, but I'm going to not use him on top. I'm going to go with Beauty Design.
And what about the 4 Camilla? Have you seen her work over the Gulfstream Park surface?
Yeah, her works have just been okay. The first one was a maintenance work. The second work was a little bit better. Did show some speed first time out, maiden special weight. Going to get over bet too with IRAD on here, but I think you got to include her also. The class drop, race under the belt, IRAD, lots to like about her.
There is, and these 5.5 sprints, they're always tough with these maiden horses, especially the first-time starters. It's kind of a bit of a crapshoot. Race number 7 starts the late pick 5 here. This is the Dana Beach. I've got a ticket that we are going to show to kick off this pick 5. We're going to get to race 7 in a moment. Race 8, sorry, Ron, I'm hitting the all button here. A mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. Just, I think a lot of horses are evenly matched in this race. The 9th race, our second feature race of the day, that's the Ginger Brew for fillies, singling with the 3 Cairo Consort. We'll talk about her in a little bit. I'm interested to see if you've got her singled as well, Mike. And race 10, singling with the 6 Papa Cat, but I also think that the number 4 Tartufo will be tough as well. If you're wanting to spend a little more money, maybe cut down the 8th and add the 4 and the 10th. And in race 11, 2 and 9, the 2 being my top pick, a first-time starter for Amador Sanchez. But for race number 7 here, Major Dude is back, and we've got a work to show from Palm Beach Downs, where he was working with Colonel Liam, 2 year in a row Pegasus Turf Sprint. Now, Colonel Liam's on the outside here. Major Dude here is on the inside. And what are your thoughts with this work, Mike?
Well, I mean, the fact that he pairs him up with Colonel Liam tells you volumes right away. Major Dude, I got to see work before the Breeders' Cup, and he was training extremely well. Workout-wise going into the Breeders' Cup. So he's obviously a pretty good workhorse. And you can see he's holding his own here with Colonel Liam. One thing about works at Palm Beach Downs, if you've watched him over the years, horses on the rail do have a little bit of an advantage over horses working outside. It seems a little quicker in there. But he held his own and did it without being asked. So that's a big work. That really is a big work. Knowing who horses work with, and on our workout reports, we try to put them in when we have that information, is really invaluable information you can't get by just looking at the times that they did. So, you know, his race in the Breeders' Cup turf, juvenile turf, you know, compromised right from the start, post 13. I mean, his race was almost over right there. So I thought he ran pretty well, everything being considered. So now he comes here off of the good works, got a good post, IRAD back on. You know, lots to like. I don't know if he lays over the field, and he's probably going to be a little bit shorter price than he should be. Again, the IRAD factor, the Todd factor, but I think he's definitely the horse to beat.
The number 7, Worthington, coming from the 7 post position, which isn't really a bad place to be here, Mike, although it is the outside. This is a colt that the thing that I didn't like about him in his last race, and I know the turf course at Churchill Downs has been a bit tricky as of late, but he switched back into his left lead right late in the lane, and it's almost, I don't know if it's a product of being a bit immature or fitness-wise, or what did you think off that last race?
Yeah, you know, not knowing the horse, it's hard to tell. Not watching his previous races, maybe he did that then too. But he is a young horse and an improving horse, obviously. And those are really dangerous horses in races like this. I mean, they can take another forward leap and you know, beat a horse like Major Dude. Obviously, he likes a mile. I think the outside post is going to be good for him. He's going to work out a good stalking trip. It's a small field, so he shouldn't get caught too wide. He is my second pick in here. I think he is the main danger to Major Dude for sure.
The number 6 I want to touch on here, just because I think Suzak, now the work at Palm Meadows I was not a fan of. I don't know if you got to watch that. I felt like his workmate was just playing with him the whole time.
Yeah, my work partner, I didn't watch the work. He was just, okay with it. Now, I talked to Graham, and Graham said Joel liked it. He liked the way he handled the track. I mean, the one thing you notice about him, this horse has been running on softer ground,
Yeah.
and has had 2 wins over softer ground. Now he's going to have to deal with a much, much firmer turf course here. He said he was pleased with the way, or Joel said he was pleased with the way he handled the firm turf at Palmettos, but I'm taking a stand against him here. I don't think he'll be one of the choices. He has won 3 in a row, but I think this is going to be a new experience for him, and I'm going to take a wait-and-see attitude with this horse.
Yeah, the first starts in the United States are always a bit iffy, and I like whenever horses have a gate start coming over here, too, just like a little maintenance drill. Even the turf horses, I think it just kind of sharpens them from the gate, because this is a whole different ball game here with the starting gate. Race number 8. This is the start of a late pick 4, scratching the 1 and the 2 out of this race. Brian has a ticket for us. We're going to pop up on the screen here. He's going 2 by 2 by 1 by 3 here. His single in the 10th is the 7. That is picking up pennies. A nice horse for the Saffie Joseph barn, a quick one at that. And in race number 11, he's spreading a little bit. Mooncat, a first-time starter for the Chris Davis barn. That will be an interesting horse to watch. Be excited to hear what you think of his works there at Palmettos. But race number 8 here. This is an allowance optional claiming event, 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta here. This was my all-button race, and kind of what were you leaning more towards?
This is the kind of race where I could see where you'd want to push the all button. I mean, Fly the W is going to be the favorite. He beat the same field going away by 5 lanes. Ran a career best 93 Beyer. Comes back in 4 weeks. Supposed to bounce a little bit off of this kind of a race and maybe become a little vulnerable at a short price, although his work coming out of that race was pretty good on December 31st over the main track. So he's going to regress. I'm sure he's not going to run a 93 again, but I think he'll run well. But I don't think I want him at a short price. I took Cadet Corps. This horse is really good right now. Trainer Elizabeth Doble's been on kind of a roll lately.
Oh, yeah.
This horse won on the Tapeta, came back and ran even better on the turf, but goes back to the Tapeta, which is probably his preferred surface.
Yeah.
So in the form that he's in right now, I had to take him over Fly the W. Will be a little bit better price. These races are trip races most of the time. So, of the main contenders, and Moms is another one of those, you're going to have to see whoever gets the best trip may come out best in the end. But for me, Cadet Corps would get my money if I was playing this race, which I am not.
I really do like Cadet Corps as well. I was kind of hoping that this horse will kind of stay at the morning line price. I would love to get 5 to 1 or more. I think they'll really play Fly the W here. Race number 9, our second feature race of the day. That is the Ginger Brew 1 mile on the grass. This time it is for fillies. Scratch the number 6, Anna Corinne, and the number 3, Cairo Consort. We've got the replay of the stretch run at the Breeders' Cup where she finished 3rd. And there she is with the red cap. And how did you like this race for her? I thought it was impressive.
Yeah, no, I thought she ran well. Look, anytime you run 3rd in this kind of, in a 14-horse field against this kind of competition, it's a big effort no matter what way you slice it. And she hadn't even worked that well going into the race. I saw her grass work going in, and it was just very average to me. So she outran her work. But now she switches. She was purchased privately. She goes into Todd's bond for the first time. She seems to be working well there. She gets IRAD up. Whatever short price you were going to get before, it's going to be even shorter now because the Chad Brown horse has come out, has been scratched out of here. She's definitely the horse to beat. I mean, again, I don't want 3 to 5, which you're probably going to get, but she's going to take a lot of beating in here. I took a price horse for second, and this is strictly a workout play. Isabel Alexandra has 3 races on the grass. They're all decent. Ran okay in the stakes debut, but came out of that stake and worked just super on the grass last week for this race. So I'm just hoping that's kind of a wake-up call. She's obviously going to need far and away her best race to beat Cairo Consort, but she would have run second to Cairo Consort, and she's 14 to 1 or 12 to 1. You get a little nice exact, and nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, no, you can't ignore that at all. And what about the number 9, Erna, making her debut among winners for the first time. Was a bit life and death to kind of put away those maidens here on December 11th.
Yeah, she was, but I think she's going to move forward off it. And I was surprised when I look at the sheet numbers in here. I think she had the best sheet numbers, or was at least equal with Cairo Consort. So you have to kind of respect that. Yeah, I couldn't toss her completely, but, you know, to me, it's Cairo Consort's race to lose.
Race number 10, this is starting our late daily double, 1 mile here, a really nice race. It's only 7 horses in the field, but it's really quite quality, not quantity here. Now, Papa Cap, we've got a replay of him running second to Jack Christopher here at Belmont Park. And, you know, Jack Christopher was just a freak this day, and I feel like Papa Cap still ran a really nice race.
Yeah, I mean, look, this horse has some huge races on his form. Anytime you could, you know, you go head and head with Jack Christopher, you're going to take the worst of it there.
Yeah.
So the only thing concerns me, he's been away. His game is pretty much speed, although he has come from behind going long, going 2 turns before. So it'll be interesting to see how they play it here. But this is his first time facing older horses. He is going to have to come from behind in here because Pick Up the Pennies and Great King are going to be on the lead. So I took a little stand against just because he's going to get bad. And with the layoff and the first-time older horses, I took a stand against him. I went for a couple of horses that I think are going to close into a very fast pace, and that's Tartufo and 12 Vote Man. Tartufo coming out of a really better than it looks on paper effort at Churchill. I don't know if we have a replay of the stretch run here. It was a very wet track. This was I think it was the last race of the Churchill meet. He's the gray horse way on the outside. He's been wide all the way around. He's been off for 4, 5, 6 months. And at this point of the race, you figure, well, he's going to, you know, give up and finish 5th, 6th, 7th. And he really hangs in there out in the middle of the racetrack. And then he gallops out really well. I don't know if they're going to keep going after this, but he galloped out strongly after that. So I look for this horse to really move forward off of that race. He gets IRAT, again, good thing, bad thing, going to hurt your price, but you know you're going to get a good ride. See him here. I know the leader stopped after the race, but that leader ran a 98 buyer that day, so nobody was going to beat him in there. So I took Tartufo, and I took 12 Volt Man. Perfect complement to Picking Up Pennies. Stablemates, 1 speed, 1's a closer.
Yeah.
I mean, if Picking Up Pennies gets loose on the lead here, he may go all the way.
Yeah.
You see that December 19th work. They worked together. They went head and head. They went 58-3. It was a really good work for both of them.
Yeah.
Especially for a horse like 12 Vote Man who doesn't have that kind of speed to stick with Picking Up Pennies. I thought that was an excellent move for him.
It is, and like you said, them working together, I think, is in head-to-head at that. I mean, I really appreciate when trainers keep them head-to-head in the works. I think that a horse gets a lot out of it with that. And Safi Joseph, his horses have just been really lighting it up as of late here, Mike.
Yeah, Safi, one thing Safi, the luxury he has a lot of good horses, and he can pair them off against each other.
Exactly.
Or he's got some young horses that he can pair off with older horses and get an idea where they fit. So it's an advantage when you have a barn like that. Todd does it, Chad does it. All the guys with big barns, especially when they start bringing up their younger horses, and they want to get a real clue where they belong, they put them in with more seasoned horses, and if they hold their own with them, just like today we see Todd with working his 3-year-old with Colonel Liam. So.
Exactly. Race number 11, the finale on this Saturday card, 7.5 furlongs, a maiden special weight race here, and you and I are seeing this the same way. Justin's Legacy, what an incredible stride this horse has in the morning here, Mike. I'll let you talk about him because you've seen him in person far more than I have.
Yeah, I've seen him a lot of times. I've been waiting to bet on this horse for quite a bit since I saw him back in November, and then that 5-ace work in December, and then the Torpedo Works, which could give you some indication that maybe he'll handle the grass. I'm a little surprised to see him starting him out 7.5 around 2 turns on the turf. I would have thought maybe they'd want to sprint him first time if they want to win first time because he is pretty quick. But, you know, the horse has worked terrific, got breeding for the grass. Hopefully he'll break clean and go to the lead. I think that's the way he's going to win 7.5 first time is going to the lead. Edgard's riding him today. Hector Barrios has been working him. Hector's not here today. That's why he's not riding him. I think he's in California riding some stakes out there. So I think he's a very live first-time starter, but just keep your fingers crossed when they open that gate. He's got to break and get position. I also thought Fabled Prince was a sleeper in here, too. He's got some good breeding for the grass as well. A couple of nice horses in the family, Snowy Winter and Hieronymus, both proven turf horses. And he looks like he's working okay. And Mooncat, to me, is of the experienced ones. This horse has run once, even effort. But this horse, the mare won almost $500,000 on the grass, and I expect this horse to improve leaps and bounds with one under his belt.
And it kind of maybe played out to a good thing that he just got the mile and a 16th race out of the way on the Tapeta. It was rained off the grass that day, and hopefully he should take just fine to the turf. And
yeah, you could see their intentions right away to get him on the grass.
Exactly.
The race was rained off, so they kept him in there, got that race under his belt. If this horse won, and I can see why Brian, would be singling a horse like this. If you feel the first timers are going to need a start, or you got that experience, then you get IRAD, why not?
Exactly. So our lightning round, we're going to start now. That wraps up our 11 race card. Let's go ahead and dive in at what's going on tomorrow. A really nice prep, maybe some not Mucho Macho Man, Holy Bull horses for tomorrow here, Mike. Tomorrow, it's a nice race. Have you picked out anybody for it yet?
Yeah, that allowance race may be better, or as good as certainly, it may be better than the Mucho Macho Man. A little less experienced horses in there, but yeah, you see Mr. Ripple running off the screen here.
Yep.
Exceeded Safi's expectations considering his workouts. He said he's just an okay workhorse. Didn't expect that. Todd's got 2 undefeated horses in there. Shug's got one that won at first asking with not a great buyer, but visually impressive. And Dale Romans has entered 2 in there. He's only going to run 1. The Mischief horse coming out of the Jockey Club Gold Cups worked really well here since he got here as well. So I'm looking forward to watching that race. I'm going to watch football early in the day and come back over here to see that race tomorrow.
It will be a very exciting race. As far as a best bet goes today, I am going with Cairo Consort in the Dana Beach Stakes. That is race number 9. Pardon me, in the Ginger Brew Stakes. And do you have a best bet today?
In the paper I made King D a best bet, and then I thought, what am I doing? A horse like this, 16,000 on the Tapeta. I don't know about that. But I just think if he runs his race, he can win, and it'll be a little bit of a price. I just like him because of the field he's in and the fact the favorite is 0 for 1,000, so why not?
As far as the long shot goes, mine is Cadet Corp for the Elizabeth Dobles barn in race number 8. Do you have anything that you think might be a long shot?
Yeah, I mean, my long shot today is Isabella Alexandra. Going to be a big price. Again, I don't know if she can beat the favorite, but I think she's going to give a good account of herself at a big price today.
Today also, Mike starts the Coast to Coast Pick 5. It is 3 races from Santa Anita, 2 here from Gulfstream Park, including our Ginger Brew Stakes, kicking it off with maybe Cairo Consort. Depending on how you see the race, if you got a strong opinion, you can kick it off with a single. And then it's Calbred Day in Santa Anita Park. Some very tough races there. And are you going to play this today?
Nah, between getting the analysis done here and the Clocker report for today, I had no time to look at the Santa Anita card. So we do have a Clocker report, though. If you go to drf.com, we do have a Santa Anita Clocker report as well. And I would recommend, if you are playing that today or you're playing the big pick 6 out there, I think they have a carryover tomorrow maybe.
It's mandatory today.
Mandatory today.
Yep.
I'd pick that up. My clock right there, Toby Terrell, is very good at what he does.
Good.
And his reports come in handy just as the ones we have here. So drf.com/clocker get you the Santa Anita Clocker report for the 2 big gimmicks we have today.
And I am in the hot seat today for Beat the Expert for the first time. You can sign up online at gulfstreampark.com/wagering. I'll also post the link to my Twitter. If you pick more winners than me today, you can win a Gulfstream Park polo and other prizes. So make sure to beat the expert today. And Mike, exciting day today. The Eclipse Award finalists will be announced. It's at the Breakers this year, the award ceremony. And did you have anybody you were really keen on?
Well, Flightline's going to be the guy there at the awards. It's going to be all about Flightline. I don't think there'll be too many surprises in the finalists. There are some very close categories for the final vote, Trainer being one. Chad and Todd are going to battle that out. And the top sprinter, there's 3 or 4 you could pick in there. So it'll be interesting to see. Actually, there's at least 4 or 5 that maybe could qualify. Yeah. Of all the categories, I'm interested to see who the the finalists are going to be in there. Whether Jack Christopher, for instance, will be one of them or not. I'm going to say maybe not, but it's possible. So I think that's going on right now. So when we get off of the set, we'll go back and
we'll see
who's going to be there.
Thank you all so much for joining us today here at Gulfstream Park. That wraps up Gulfstream Park today. Ron and Brian will be back in just a moment. We'll be with you throughout the whole day to guide you through some winners. Enjoy your day here at Gulfstream Park. And Mike, thank you so much for coming out.
My pleasure. Hope to get to do it again.
Good luck, everybody.
We're ready for the start. They're off.